Know, O Prince, that these are the days when men walked the earth, in the days of empty, when there was nothing around but death and carnage. And my master, I don't have a master, get out of here with that crap. Anyway, what's up, guys? Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and this is Conan, issue number 11. Specifically, Conan the Barbarian, issue number 11. What is this? The Age Unconquered, Part 3, Call from the Depths. Fantastic comic book. I was a little inspired by the thing because after the story is over, the Conan continues because you have a couple different things in here, including a conversation about how sometimes it's O Prince with the letter O, sometimes it's OH O Prince, right? From back in the days, and just silly little things like that that just seem like they're so inconsequential, but when you start reading it, you can't help but to finish what you're reading. It's like a news article talking about Conan, and you're only going to get that once a month. Let's just be honest, right? It's absolutely fantastic, and to me, it just solidifies all of these guys, but Zub specifically as right now, for now, the third best Conan writer ever. I mean, we're talking Robert E. Howard first, and Rob Howard, Rob Howard, Rob Thomas. Why do I always do this? Roy Thomas. Jeez. Roy Thomas as number 2. And maybe in 20 years, maybe Zub can actually pass that. If anybody could, I think that he would. But, oh, man. These are such fantastic comic books. Let's talk about who made these books first. And then we're going to get into all that good stuff. So, Grim Jim Zub. Grim Jim. That sounds like snap into a Grim Jim. Anyway, Rob Del Toro on art. Diego Rodriguez doing the color art. Hey, Richard Starkins is back. And also Comic Craft's Tyler Smith. He doesn't get a cool, fancy name. I think that's kind of rude, but it is what it is. Another quick little excerpt in the very beginning of this comic book where Conan is talking to Yag Kothra. It's funny that I just got finished doing a mission with Yag Kothra in it for my Dungeons and Dragons World of Conan story. I did the first one accidentally live. Whatever, nice little treat for you guys. I will re-release that in all of the other episodes once I'm finished with the series. I'm doing part 5 of 10 this coming Friday. So you'll get all those guys, I don't know, maybe another month and a half. No longer than 2 months, I'd imagine. Fantastic stories right now. The guys are loving it. And I think you guys will too. Anyway, Yad Kothra goes and explains several things to Conan in this. And it's actually really sad. But he lets slip that he could potentially be a king in the future. That's one of his names, right? He's like, king? He's like, hey, whatever, man, you're out of time. He's like, what do you mean I'm out of time? And of course, doesn't mean that he's going to die soon. Instead, what it means is that he, what do you call it? He's like a man out of time. He's in the past right now. Same time zone, just different time period. I thought that was funny. Whatever. You guys have no sense of humor. That's your problem. But he expels on a couple different things. And the sad part is Conan's like, we need to talk again. He's like, oh, we will. Right before you do me a favor of delivering a message and then killing me, which was from an earlier story, which I actually from a Robert E. Howard story, the Tower and the Elephant, or the Tower of the Elephant. Fantastic. All of this stuff, the way that everything kind of moves into each other. And the really disappointing part of that is Conan actually already did that. So it's his way of saying, yes, we will talk again in the timeline, but in reality, you and I will never talk again because you've already did the thing that I said that you're going to do in the future. Because Conan has to get back to the future. Oh my God, all of a sudden I understand the title of that movie now. I'm joking. Conan is leading, well, Kull is actually leading this, but Conan is kind of like the backup man over Brule in this particular case, going through these tunnels to try and figure out what it is that's bothering Kull so much. And they do get to the ultimate point in here. This comic book, I'm I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to give too many spoilers for this comic book because it's not what I do. And the proof of that is any other video that I've ever done. I'll do a spoiler for an issue 1 to get you to buy the comic book, but after that, I'm just keeping up with the comic book and the story and all of that good stuff. And it's on you to actually read the comic book. I just want to review it and talk about the good things about it. Hopefully not any of the bad things about it. Is what it is, though. I find that, or first off, I got this comic book the day that the book was released. I usually get it a week in advance. But apparently the people who release the comic book to some of us reviewers, we apparently we're not trustworthy enough to wait the week to do the review. There's too many people who would actually give spoilers for the comic book. That's a damn shame, and maybe those people should be talked to individually. I myself have no qualms about calling myself a creature of habit. There are people who say don't get into habits because no, I completely disagree. I am a huge fan of habits. So when I see that a comic book has been sent to me, I know which ones send me a week early, which ones send me, and they say, no, you can review it early. Some who say, no, wait until this day and whatever. I know every single one of them, and I keep them in mind. It's easy because I'm a creature of habit. And this one, they always give me 1 week early, and I'm like, no problem. I'll just wait until the following Wednesday, and then I'll release the comic book, whatever. So I decided to read the comic book today, Tuesday, and make the video so that I can post it and have it scheduled to come out tomorrow, Wednesday, right? Guess what? Oh, we released this on the day of the comic book, as you may have noticed, a week later than we usually do it because da-da-da-da. It's like, son of a gun. Damn it. Well, and then even worse in the newsletter, not the newsletter everybody else gets, but the private email that we reviewers get, English matters. They point out the freaking spoilers for the comic book, which is like, you son of a gun! You son of a gun, you spoiled it for me. I actually enjoy reading these comic books and going, holy crap, that's what I like. That's what I like it. You could have just released the comic book to us on the day of and let me read it and be surprised. And then the next day be like, hey, so surprise, this is why we sent it to you a week late. And whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. But there really are some incredible surprises in here. If you read this comic book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, get in the know, because if you know, you know, and you want to know. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking at this review and you haven't read the comic book yet, don't worry, you're safe. I'm not going to spoil for you. But there's so many things that happen in this comic book. Somebody shows up. When he shows up, look very distinctly at the thing that is in his hand. You will recognize it. Yes, it's that thing from that place, right? From that thing. All right. So just, you got to freaking look at this comic book. You got to read this comic book. The surprise, what? Somebody just got stabbed in this? And a lot of people get stabbed in this. I'm telling you that right now. The one spoiler I will give you is this. Remember how in the previous issue and several issues I've been talking about, when you go and you bang Conan, you know what I'm saying? There's a good chance you're going to die afterwards. I mean, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to freaking die after you sleep with Conan. I'm just saying. Well, guess what happens in this comic book? Remember that chick from the previous issue? Yeah, her. No more comment on her boobies. Move. So that's the only spoiler that you're going to get in this. But what I will say is this. By the time you get to the double page, and there's several double page spreads in this. By the time you get to the one where they open up this double tomb door and these things start pouring out of it, you're going to look at this double page spread and say exactly what I said. You know how there's a lot of Conan comic books that used to come out and there were inks only? You're going to say that this issue deserves to be inks only. Another thing that you see sometimes, the silent comic books. Everybody's going to remember when that G.I. Joe, what was it, issue number 9, issue 17 or something like that came out. And oops, they lost the original script for it and everything like that. So, oh, hey, here's an idea. Just release it as a silent comic book. And that's what they did. And it was an amazing silent comic book. It didn't hurt that they also did the tattoo reveal for Snake Eyes and for Shadow Storm, or Storm Shadow, whatever, where you saw that, hey, they're actually in the same group or they have some kind of a connection with each other. What? So, yeah, silent comic books can be amazing. I always try to remember Leonard Kirk, not too far away from where I live. He, what do you call it? He did that one issue of Black Panther where they were fighting against Claw, and then everything went silent. And surprise, a good portion of this comic book became a silent comic book, and he's basically the only one telling the actual story in it, and it was spectacular. I gave the man flowers for for what he did in person because of how incredible this story was. And it's great to see somebody who is so humble, who usually just, laughs things off or jokes things off or, oh, whatever, it's fine, da 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 da. And he actually felt so pleased, I guess, at the particulars of how I was, commenting and complimenting what he had done. Going into the particulars, he seemed almost honored, which is awesome. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I love to see, because some people deserve that, and he absolutely did. I would love to see this comic book be re-released as not only in inks only, but also as a images only. Maybe inks only, meaning not even the letters in it. At some point. That's how good the art was in this issue. All the issues are drawn really amazing. I've commented on that so many times before. You guys know this. This issue was above and beyond that one. And I guess it's because of all the surprises that happen in this issue. You can't wait to see the next issue. You can't wait to see the next storyline. You can't wait to see what's coming next. Guys, Robert E. Howard, Roy Thomas, Jim Zub, and he's stabbing upwards. He really is. I'm telling you, this is one of the books. If you're only getting one comic book per month for budget or principal or whatever, this is an easy top contender for you to just simply say, I'm going with Conan, say something bad. Fantastic stuff. You guys are going to love this. There's really nothing else worth saying about this comic book except go out and buy this comic book. Add this to your collection. You want to get the trade, but each one of these issues, fantastic. Fantastic to have. This issue by itself, if you haven't collected any of the other ones, go and grab this issue so you can actually experience the comic book the way that it was meant to be experienced, not just in a trade paperback form, but actually as its own. And smell it the way that it was meant to be done. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.